Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read through for Killing Bites, chapters 127 and 128. It's been a while, we finally have two new chapters. It does feel like, I'm not complaining, the mangaka does a bunch of other manga and stuff, but at the same time it's like, it's such a long wait for just another chapter. Feels like we're always waiting forever, even when things are just on every single month. I just want more Killing Bites. Like, I would love a weekly series similar to Killing Bites. I don't know. I just really, really, really like the series and want even more of it. But to get even more of it, I would have to wait literal years at this stage. But, I am excited to see where we go. Maybe, probably we'll continue into the fight between between our, furry girl main character and the Dino Lolly antagonist. I think is where we'll be continuing, hopefully. I mean, we'll maybe cut away a bit. There's a lot of things going on. So, yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say other than let's just start reading. Of course, because it's a manga, I can't actually show it on screen. I just have the volume cover up here, and not even the most recent volume cover, but I figured that it was a good choice to go with, given that this fight is where I assume we'll be staying. But either way, let's start reading. We have chapter 127, I Don't Want to Fight Anymore. The first time I met that girl, of course. I remember that. It was around 6 years ago. Another thing that's going to kill me with these long waits between chapters is remembering everybody's names. I think this was Musujiro. You see, there's this tribe in the Brazilian Amazon called the Yaha people, and they passionately believe in the modern existence of dinosaurs. On top of that, they even worship these dinosaurs as gods, going as far as to perform ceremonies wherein they offer sacrifices to them. Upon learning of these amazing rumors, I immediately discarded the novel I was writing and traveled to the region as fast as I could. Was I vaccinated? No, I didn't bother with any of that. Polio, malaria, Ebola, the thought of contracting any of these infectious diseases, how thrilling. I don't think Ebola's a South American thing, is it? But I digress. So, and also the fact that he throws in polio. I feel like shouldn't most people, have polio vaccinations anyway? Maybe the world of Killing Bites is a bit different. So, why would I miss out on the local flair? That's the whole point of traveling. Yeah. Anyway, I very soon came across the dinosaur I'd heard about. A great stroke of luck. Well, it was actually thanks to my guides, my Peruvian guides, who quite unluckily all got eaten. In the local tongue, her name meant God, and that name was Koyomi, a name belonging to a 3-year-old girl, and we see her in dino form. From what I heard, about once every 100 years a dinosaur human is born amongst this tribe, and it's their custom to worship it as a divine totem. This seems to be the root of the Yaha people's traditional cannibalism. On that note, Koyomi's own parents were fed to her when she was just 3 days old. Huh? Why was I spared? Phew. Well, it certainly was a close call, but for some reason, I was the only one who just barely managed to communicate with her. I persuaded Koyomi that I could provide her with far more food than if she ate me, and thus it was far more beneficial to let me live. Even the elders of the Yaha tribe were impressed by what I had achieved, and so I was permitted to leave with the god of their village. Well, regardless of how divine she is, Koyomi is also a man-eating monster, born of a genetic mutation, and they had no real idea of how to deal with her. I suppose in truth that once they found such a promising foreigner, they quickly deduced that it was a perfect opportunity to offload their heaviest burden onto them instead. Nevertheless, I brought her home with me to Japan, and again, if this is something that happens every once in a while, in the world of Killing Bites, how long have random origin beasts been showing up? Adopted her into my family, educated her, and with the Zaibatsu's endless finances secured, made her the most vicious, strong, and intelligent beast man in the history of my kingdom. And we see the eye falling from the end of last chapter. And this is how we successfully raised a genuine dinosaur And yeah, let me throw in the cancelable clip for if my channel ever gets big in the future. Yeah, elementary schooler upskirt. Let's go. This is what we're here for. She claws out the eye of Pure, as we saw last time. And it just makes you think, Koyomi's been so unstoppable thus far. The dinosaurs, like, themselves haven't necessarily been. Like, they've been strong and everything, they're dinosaurs. But we have actually seen the other characters putting up a fight against the randoms. But we've barely seen Koyomi kind of try. And yet, it's like, how does the Beagle win? Then again, you think this with all of the past Beagle fights and she managed to pull it off. But I am excited. I'm hoping that we really, really lock into this fight a bit and the fight ends up being good. Because I think with this tournament, when we did lock into the fights, I think these are some of my favorite fights in manga. Like, basically, Haiji would show up and just drop a banger fight every time. Like, every time she got matched up with somebody. Like, a lot of these fights have been really, really, really good as far as the actual fight itself goes. The writing of the choreography and everything. So, I'm hoping that we've kind of been teasing this for months and months, chapters and chapters. I hope we can finally start seeing some of the fight itself go down. And we have the tumbling backwards from Pure. She lands prone. That there was some impressive attack and defense. By chance, while Koyomi aimed for her internal organs, she instead hit an eyeball, and the dog's quick thinking allowed her to avoid having her skull crushed. Fatal injury avoided. But... And so, even with the eye missing, I'm always like, they can probably fix it after the fight. That's the thing with killing bites. Whatever injuries they take, I'm like, okay, they can maybe fix it after the fight. Even, didn't, what's his name, Denuma? Something like that? The Cobra, he said something like that, right? That he could have gotten his eye fixed, but chose not to, or something like that? That one blow has crushed her will to fight. I think it's safe to say that it's over now. Well, even if I declare the match to be over, that appetite is far from being satisfied. And we have her going even more full dino to charge in. No more. I don't want to fight anymore. The honey badger, the elephant, the tiger, and even the giant sloth. No matter the foe, it was all the same. And I would stand and fight. Engage in that life-threatening conversation. Through competition, through battle, we could read each other's minds, even in the midst of an unavoidable fight to the death. Through a kind of smell, I was able to form a deep and strong connection. But the only thing I can smell from Koyomi is nothing except... Okay, before I even see what it is, I like this. Whenever she was in these fights in the past, they were always against somebody who was like fighting for a strong reason, and she was putting herself against them and like learning more about them and, conversing through the fight. But it seems like Koyomi really, I don't think she even wants to do this. She's just driven by hunger and manipulated by the Zaibatsu. And if instead of feeding into her hunger, they had just, had healthier outlets for her, then she probably could have ended up differently. Something creepy and incomprehensible that makes me sick to my stomach. I thought that we could be friends, and we have the kiss again. Get to know each other. Laugh together and touch one another. Pure? Excuse you, Pure? I was only fooling myself. Koyomi probably does. Sorry, that's just such a funny line. Props to, I think Road Warrior watches these props for that wording, for that translation. That's hilarious. I was only fooling myself. Koyomi probably doesn't even see me as a human being, never mind as her friend. I really am nothing. And I wonder, though, because this was kind of our first, human-ish interaction we saw from Koyomi. So I'm wondering if it did leave an impression on her, though, and that's going to play a part in this. You would assume it is for, your stereotypical manga writing, but I really am nothing but food to her. And she cries. And we have The destroyer of waifus coming in to save a waifu, and I guess destroy yet another. The the tank here, the goat, carrying this arc, really. I mean, I guess in terms of like the fight quality, his fights were good, but carrying the arc and just being shocking again and again. The hippopotamus coming in. I absolutely, like, you show this 2-page spread to like somebody who doesn't read Killing Bites, and this is so wild. Oh my god, I love this. We have the damage taken, Kiyomi sent flying. I realize it's very uncouth of me to put a damper on such a fateful duel. However, yeah, it is kind of interrupting a 1v1. Since I'm just answering your backstabbing with my own ambush, I wouldn't complain if I were you. He's missing an arm now. I love the colored in version of that panel I was mentioning, used for the end. Okay, that was really, really, really fun. Also, I need to... They're at volume 3 already for the Princess Yuri harem. I really need to read more of the author's works. I just don't have time. I really want to, though. I read some in Japanese when the first few chapters started coming out of that most recent one, but... Okay. Just, glancing through. And Murata's just doing the storyboarding for that. The story and script and stuff. So, since it's an original story and script are both by different people, and the storyboarding is by yet somebody else, is it an adaptation of like a light novel or something? It's kind of different. Oh well. So we finished that chapter. Let's go read the next one. 128. You've been waiting all this time for me to get serious. And we see damage to him. Forgive me. Okay, we're getting a flashback to what happened. Such a waste. I really wanted to eat him too. Well, normally I would have a little bite. But, for the sake of that girl, I have to make sure that my stomach is totally empty. We have Kiyomi. And then she sort of dashes off adorably. The dog. Pure. Since you and I are the only ones here today, it'll be alright for me to teach you some of my special techniques. Eh? The reaction. Are you serious? Hooray, awesome, cool. But are you sure it's fine? Isn't this like giving salt to your enemy? You'll be participating in the tournament too, right, Teach? Of course. But I also have orders from my lady to provide you with special training before the tournament starts. That aside, keeping my students safe is all part of my duty as a teacher. Given how dangerous this tournament will be for you, this is no time for me to be selfish. His name was Ichinosuke, right? Again, sorry if I'm forgetting names, it's a while between chapters, but I really like him. He's one of the few characters that has been around from the very, very, very beginning and has still kind of been relevant and cool. Like, Hitomi's still around, but has kind of barely been around since Pure took over, and I like Pure a lot more as a main character, so I'm fine with it. Even though, like, Hitomi's attractive, I just don't find her character as interesting to me as Pure's character. And then we have, main male character, Nozomu, forgetting his name even. Hit and miss for me. I feel like we don't need him, though, at this point. I feel like he was really good in the first part of the story, kind of part 1, before we took the time skip. Part 2, though, I feel like I would have been fine just following, like, Tasuku when she was here, and Pure, and didn't really need him, particularly. And then, Inaba's been around, but Inaba's sort of the, fan service among all the other fan service and comedy relief type character. She's the fan character. But continuing. Huh? Well, in that case, you should be teaching this stuff to Haiji and Hitomi too. No, that wouldn't be possible for them. This training requires one to be an obedient servant to a master. Oh, yes, it is impossible. Those two both move at their own pace and obey nobody but themselves. And fighting for yourself isn't good enough. For yourself, for friends, for family, and for a good cause. You have to be ready to kill and be killed by your enemy. Neither to feed nor to protect yourself. You must throw yourself into a pure, murderous determination. Throw away fear of death, and, with all your heart and soul, with power greater than the striking hand, unleash an almighty bite. And we have Killing Bites, him standing up against the onslaught of the Dino Man ambush that he was getting attacked by. And then if Coyote, and I mean, hippos in nature and everything are stupidly fast. Like, it doesn't make sense that they're as fast as they are. Like, I still don't fully understand the physics behind it. I'm like, how can they move so quickly? They're basically armored tanks that are near impossible to harm. And they're extremely dangerous and volatile. So to have the hippo be this OP makes complete sense. If Kiyomi Uzaki is going to take pure Inui Pure seriously, then this is not the time for me to give up now. And he charges off with them still latched on. We have the Dino Men surrounding them back in the present time. Then everybody is down. Since I'm just answering your backstabbing with my own ambush, I wouldn't complain if I were you. Mr. Okajima. Oh, splendid. I've heard that hippos are animals that often defend the young of their herd, even from the likes of crocodiles, with a bite force measuring a ton. That they could also bite dinosaurs to death too, I did not expect. But, then Kiyomi responds, all you've defeated were mere replicas after all. So then, against the genuine article, I wonder how well do you think you will really fare? I can see right through you, Uzaki Koyomi. To you, Inui Pure is not just a snack. The fact is, you left your troublesome life in South America, came all the way to Japan to participate in Killing Bites, because you found out that prey that didn't offer good sport just wasn't satisfying. But though you realize this, unfortunately, it turns out there's next to nobody that's truly capable of satisfying your appetite. Not even someone like myself. That's maybe going to be the thing too, where she's compelled by wanting that good sport in her prey. She's compelled to fight somebody who can bring that out of her, like Pure. But if she does succeed, if she kills Pure, then she's not going to have that anymore. Her prey is going to be gone. So she's maybe going to have to deal with a struggle with her relationship with Pure, given that the fight with Pure is what she wants. But winning is a loss to her in the long run. There just aren't many on Earth who are equal to you. However, Inui Pure is one exception. She's the kind of person who would sacrifice her life, not for herself, her friends, nor her master, but for none other than you yourself. Animals that live in groups don't just live for themselves, but also for friends and for their families. It is this instinctual altruism that causes them to risk their lives to fight off each other's enemies. But it's in dogs, where this is taken to an extreme. After all, rather than fight them, they'll actually join forces with the animal that's the natural enemy of all others, humans. Humans that they faithfully serve, and even form close friendships with. These tendencies are a major deviation from the laws of nature. It's positively abnormal for any animal to risk its life for a friend who's neither mate nor child. It's a behavior that humans themselves don't reliably demonstrate, so it can be said that dogs are the only animals that do this as a matter of instinct. You know, kinda got goosebumps a little, as goofy as this is. And also, I love every opportunity that they're just like, it's time this month. It's time to hype up beagles. I see. Koyomi taking only an eye from the beagle was definitely not a coincidence. To her perfect prey, to her best friend, to Inui Pure, it was just a way for her to express her desire to extend this fight for as long as possible. Hey, We have Dunupi. It's okay for you to run. While the old hippo guy's buying us time, we'll make ourselves a quick getaway. Come on, Pure. Nah, we're in no hurry. After all, Kiyomi's waiting on us. Rather. She stands. Kiyomi? You've been waiting all this time for me to get serious. Sorry for not noticing, but it's okay now. From now on, I really am going to kill you. What an insanely good panel. I love that we read these two together because it's the perfect story between the two of them of her like thinking about Kiyomi and saying that she doesn't want to fight, and then having all of this happen and gaining the resolve of like wanting to like end this all. And I love too, we've seen so many like main characters have to defeat the antagonist in like long running battle manga and stuff, and it's usually this angry thing, determination against the enemy who's kind of evil. But I like that this is a really personal thing where it's a hyperfixation from Kiyomi being matched not with anger or anything. Like, it's not an angry determination. It's this like resignation to the relationship between the two of them of, okay, if this is what you want, then like, if this is the fight, this is your dream, this is the prey, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to go all out, take this seriously. And depending on if the manga is going to continue, depending on what we do, again, there was the big twist at the end of part 1. I feel like either the manga is going to end here, or we're going to go into a part 3. We're going to do another big shift in what the manga is what I feel like we're getting at. So if either way, I think whether we jump to something else, last time we discarded the main character to move to another main character. Discarded sounds a little rough. Like, not really. She's still kind of around. We still have other things to do other than this fight, though, so I feel like we're probably going to cut away some more. And because we have so many things other than this fight, I know a lot of long-running manga often just leave things off-screen or don't answer questions, so we could get that here. But we probably will get more other stuff than just this fight. But when it comes to this fight and the climax, I guess we'll see a bit of fighting. We'll be jumping around to other stuff. And then the fight will kind of reach the climax once we get through the other stuff. So it makes me not want to wait. It makes me impatient. Makes me not want to wait. Since we moved away from the old main characters, I feel like there's a good chance Pure could die. Either Pure dies or they both die. It is possible that Pure kills Kiyomi and continues to live because we've had her like carry on the dead characters with her before, so she could carry on Kiyomi with her as one of the voices in her head like she's done with some of the other characters who've died. But I feel like that's maybe the least likely of the three to me. I feel like Kiyomi could win, or like Kiyomi could maybe lose the fight, Pure dies anyway, and it kind of changes Kiyomi and sort of makes her into a good guy, so to speak. Or they could both die because of this fight. I could really see both Kiyomi and Pure dying, like, to each other. That's what Killing Bites is. That's how I feel about it. And of course, the one with the sharpest fangs wins. Talking about their resolution, we're seeing this resolution here from Pure. I don't know, I just think that this ending is really, 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 really good. But now we gotta wait a while for the next one. Oh well. Let's see. Alright, so going to end things here. Thank you all for watching and everything. Gotta go do some other things, but next time we have more Killing Bites, I'll do another video on it. If you want anything else in the meantime, any suggestions, you want me to check out any of the other mangaka's work here for the channel, because that could be something to do while we're waiting. Or if you want me to do anything else Killing Bites related. I mean, was it like a year or two I did the ranking? It doesn't even feel like that long ago, because not too much has changed. Maybe I could do another type of not the same kind of ranking, but another kind of ranking or something. I don't know. If you want anything, just make suggestions if you want. Like, if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this set of chapters, my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more Killing Bites, much more on the channel though. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you're linked to the Discord server, it's open for anyone. If you'd like to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that's appreciated. But if you'd like to not just support the channel to help me to continue to make videos and everything, but also get your name at the end of videos, get One Piece videos a little bit early, you can hit join down below to become a channel member, or go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a member or patron. Thank you to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls, FR Nono, JA and the D-Ban, Cheriton students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pate Ardial, and also the Storyteller. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting, and I'll see you all next time.